Good afternoon. Welcome, bienvenue, and willkommen. My name is Kelly Lamb. I'm the Vice President of Marketing here at Miele. We're so glad to have you join us for our 8th week of Miele Live. As many of you across the country who are joining us continue to remain at home safe, and if you do need to go out, again, we encourage everybody to remain safe. We want to ensure that we are bringing you the services that you have requested of us. This week on Miele Live, we continue with our series on hashtag Miele Dines Local. This initiative we started a week ago, where we also understand small businesses across the country are also facing challenges. And we want to support you as much as possible. So we put a challenge out to chefs, restaurateurs across the country to share with us their signature dish. And we're inviting them to actually come cook with us on Miele Live. In some cases, we are filming here at our Miele Experience Center in Toronto. If they're not local, we've been doing it virtually with them. And with that restaurant and chef, Miele will be purchasing 100 meals from that restaurant, and with the restaurant chef, we're actually donating it to frontline workers out there across the country. This afternoon session is especially special for us here in Miele because we have with us the first ever MasterChef Canada winner, Eric Chong from R&D Restaurant. So we're really excited to have Eric join us today. Welcome, Eric, to the Miele Experience Center in Toronto.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
It's great to have, with our partnership with MasterChef, it's great to have you cooking back today on Miele Appliances with us. Maybe you can talk to us a bit about how's life been after MasterChef?
It's almost like a dream, I guess, still. Before I was a chemical engineer, as everybody knows, but then after the show, I got to travel Asia with Alvin. I got to taste a lot of food I never would have had before, and I got to open my restaurant, very first one, and very proud of it.
So I already know one question that a viewer had, so I'm going to ask it now, is that, if it wasn't for MasterChef, would you actually have continued down the engineering route, or would you actually have continued to pursue your, I'm sure your mom and dad are listening, but you can give an honest answer.
I probably would have been still an engineer,
okay,
because I think MasterChef just opened the doors. I would have never gotten to even close to being able to work with like a 3 Michelin starred chef like Alvin. And I don't think, I know my parents always support it, but I don't think if I didn't win, they actually wouldn't know that I was that good at cooking, because back then I didn't really cook that much at home. I just always had a passion, always watched like TV shows, and I just really enjoyed cooking, but I never really showed that I was really good at it.
So maybe you can tell us a bit about R&D, because we have viewers really from across the country, and with that I also want to welcome viewers who have been invited by some of our key retailers. So in Vancouver, we have Trail Appliances, Jerome Appliances, Midland Appliances, Avenue Appliances, who have invited, and Baker's Appliances. Here in Ontario, we have Tasco Appliances, Goman Appliances, Appliance Canada, and on the East Coast side, we have Creative Appliances as well as Almar Appliances in Montreal. So we have viewers from across the country who may have not had a chance to experience R&D, but maybe tell us a bit of the history about R&D. Obviously, it came after your MasterChef win.
So R&D stands for Rebel and Demon. It's also an homage to research and development. Since both Alvin and myself have engineering backgrounds, kind of made sense to have a bit of a play on words. So everybody always thinks it's research and development, but it's Rebel and Demon. Alvin being the demon chef and myself being the rebel, because I kind of broke away from all my education through like 4 years of university down the drain. But yeah, we kind of make modern Asian cuisine. So we take like classics like the Peking Duck or char siu bao and try and do our own modern take on it. So like our Peking Duck, for example, it's like a 2-week process, dry age, slow cook for 3 hours. And our char siu bao we make fresh every day, nice milk bun, top it with a Mexican bun topping. So a lot of our dishes are comforting, people can relate to it, but it's done in our own twist.
And that's obviously located here in Toronto. So maybe talk a little bit about, obviously like all restaurants right now, you guys aren't necessarily open for customers coming in, but you guys are doing takeout. So what's on the menu right now, Eric, as far as availability for takeout for customers?
So right now
Or some of the items.
we're doing dishes that do stem from our a la carte menu, and then doing some custom for takeout. So we have like our signatures like laksa seafood chow mein, our R&D fried rice. We have spring rolls, popcorn shrimp. We do pot stickers. So we have like dim sum, hearty food, and a few desserts as well. Yeah.
Okay. And we were talking earlier, I think it's also great that you guys pay attention to the fact of, it's takeout, people need still time to get it home, that you guys have either come up with new dishes specifically to make sure that they're still getting the best quality that I think people would expect of you.
We definitely had to tweak the dishes because nobody wants like a steamed dumpling that's been sitting in a box. So like, unfortunately, there's no steamed fungo. So we've compromised and done a pan-seared pot sticker with the same filling. So people can still get kind of the same flavors, just a little bit different, just to accommodate the takeout.
And what days are you guys open right now?
So we're open Wednesday to Sunday, 2 to 9 p.m.
Okay. And easiest way for people to, one, find out the menu, which I would imagine is just visit the website, but ordering.
So they can call the restaurant, go online and actually order from the internet.
Okay.
But if they do want to go through an app and get it delivered, unfortunately we can't deliver. So we can only get orders for pickup, but we are on Uber Eats, DoorDash, Ritual, and Skip the Dishes.
Okay, perfect. So really happy that you're able to join us here today. I think we also had a bit of a special request for you because this is not necessarily on the menu right now.
Of course.
I believe it was at one point.
It was at one point when we first opened, but it's a very expensive dish. With the amount of lobster, flavor, the fresh noodles, it just didn't make sense from a restaurant standpoint.
Right.
We do have different twists on these dishes. So I still have a lobster noodle dish and I still have a chow mein, but it's not exactly this one. So this is actually the first time I've done this after the show, if I'm being honest.
So very thanks for that. So this is one of your winning dishes from MasterChef Canada, season 1.
Yeah.
So you tell us about the dish.
All right, so I've tried to keep it as authentic as possible. The chow mein, from what I recall, really shine from the fresh noodles and the beautiful lobster curry that we make. And obviously the abundance of lobster meat, because on the show, there's no food cost, so everybody gets a whole lobster. We're gonna start off with this giant lobster though. So the key to cooking a really good lobster is not boiling it, in my opinion. I just want to cook it just enough to get the meat out of the shell. Yeah. And then we will manipulate it in that form. So right off the bat, we're going to kill the lobster. I don't know if this is PG-13 or not, but...
No, you go right ahead.
All right, so
we're going to do it.
The best place to do it is actually right here. So there's actually a crosshair. You can see literally the spot where you should put your knife. And it like sits right in there. And you just want to put as much force possible, straight down, and then down. All right, so now the lobster's dead. Normally at a restaurant, you could throw the whole lobster in a large pot. I'm trying to cater to the home cooks who are learning. You won't be able to fit multiple large lobsters in the pot. So we're gonna break it down and then cook the pieces separately. The reason why you may wanna cook it whole is because you wanna keep all the lobster juices intact and you don't want the boiling water to overcook the meat.
Right.
But we will compromise. It's not that big of a difference. So we're going to separate the claws and the tail. So the key to maximizing the meat of the tail is to grab the tail and twist and then pull. Don't just pull it or you're going to lose a lot of meat. So we're going to twist it and then pull. So you get all this extra meat. All right? Now, we're just going to chop the body in half and we'll save it for the sauce.
And Eric, for home cooks that would have a big enough pot, would you recommend them actually putting the lobster in whole in this process? Or
I'll get there just because I cook the lobster a bit differently.
Okay.
So the crusher or the large claw will take 8 minutes. The small claw will take 6 minutes, and the tail will take 4 minutes. Okay. So if you don't mind touching hot things, you can definitely throw it in whole. I don't mind. I take it out, snap it, and then put the rest back in.
Okay.
But this is a lot easier because now you can just use tongs and take out what you need as you need it.
Okay.
So a lot of people have the misconception that you have to boil the lobster. I only put it in boiling water and then turn off the heat. So this is almost like poaching it, like a gentle cook.
Right.
Because if you notice, when you boil lobster, sometimes you get a bunch of white stuff come out.
The protein.
It's the albumin, the protein, exactly. And what that means is that the meat is actually cooking too intensely. So what's happening is the heat contracts the muscles and it squeezes out the proteins. Exactly. So we want to cook it as gently as possible. We're going to drop claws and the tail in. And obviously this depends on how big of a water bath you have. If you have very little water, the temperature is going to drop. But this is quite an ample amount of water, and we'll just start a timer. While that's going.
Because I think one of the worst things is, honestly, overcooked lobster. It gets chewy and tough. So
this will actually be just enough doneness to remove the meat. I'm just going to wash my hands.
Okay.
And then we'll.
And for this particular dish you're doing with us right now, Eric, roughly what's the weight of that lobster?
That's about like a 3-pound lobster.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's definitely enough to feed like a family.
Okay. But
it'll just be one plate today. Be an abundance of lobster. So we'll get going on the sauce. All right, so we have a bunch of aromatics here. This is kind of a mixture of, I'd say, like Malaysian, Thai. Yeah, it's not really a cuisine to it. We just have a lot of different ingredients that you'd find in Southeast Asia.
So when you were on the show, actually, what inspired you for this dish itself?
That's exactly why it doesn't have a culture, because I just kind of took things that I remember and things that I've seen and kind of mashed them together. It still makes something really delicious, and it's just, you're not going to find it anywhere else in Asia, though, because it is a mixture of what I've eaten. So that's why it's not really I wouldn't consider it like Thai, Chinese, or whatnot. It uses very many different ingredients. So lemongrass. Everybody knows this flavor in curries. The key to cooking lemongrass is to cut it extremely thin to maximize the flavor. A lot of people can either bash it to release the aromatics, but since I'm going to slice it, you don't really have to bash it. And a lot of people find lemongrass extremely hard to cut. So a secret that I actually learned from one of my chefs is that if you cut it on a bias, it cuts extremely smoother than cutting it straight. Yeah, but this knife is razor sharp, so it doesn't count. But if you have
home cooks that are out there,
yeah, exactly, you definitely want to cut it on a bias. Now the curry paste that I'm making right now, you can definitely throw everything into a blender. Okay. Right now I'm just going to hand chop it. I do have a completed sauce, but this will just be more for a demo. So we're going to have some lemongrass cut up. Next, I prefer to use galangal. So this is in like the family of ginger. Yeah,
but it has more citrusy.
Exactly, citrusy, more mild. I wouldn't say it's as like sharp and I just wouldn't say it's as sharp as ginger. It just has a more mild flavor, and it really works nicely in the curry.
And for home cooks out there, if they don't have access to galangal right now, can they substitute ginger?
They can definitely substitute ginger. I just think this adds a more authentic flavor. Because I think all the curries that you have, like in Thailand or in Malaysia, they definitely use galangal. So if you want that different, authentic flavor, you definitely want to use galangal.
Okay.
Now we're going to use 3 types of chilies here. So the Thai chilies will add a lot of heat, and we're going to have dry chilies. So a lot of people either use one or the other, but actually the key to making a good curry is having chili flavor, but not being overwhelmingly spicy. So the dry chilies will add a good chili flavor, but not overwhelm you with heat. And then the Thai chilies right here will add
some heat,
the perfect amount of heat. So we'll just take off the stems, slice it up. Again, in a food processor or a blender to make this super easy.
Okay.
Shallot and garlic, of course, you need. It's almost like your onion and garlic. I almost put this in everything. And then we're going to go to our aromatics. So you have some sambal. So that's our 3rd type of heat. I just prefer using sambal because it's kind of a completed chili sauce. You have like some acidity from the rice vinegar in there, and then just some good chili flavor.
Okay.
Shrimp paste. This will boost the umami in the sauce. So whenever I'm cooking with lobster, I try to find ways to boost that shellfish flavor, because you obviously don't want to just use a whole lot of lobster. It's going to be very expensive.
Right.
So shrimp paste, the best way to cook this is to toast it in the oven. If you smell it, it's quite pungent.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So you always want to toast it off to remove the ammonia. So 4 minutes has passed. We will take this lobster out, and shock it in ice water. Now, if you want a straight lobster, you don't have to skewer it. I'll show you how after we break it down to flatten it out.
Okay.
We have some tamarind juice. So tamarind is like another like tropical form of acidity. Mm-hmm. I don't like to just use lime juice because it's very approachable, I guess. Like if you go to like a normal fast food place, they'll probably use lime juice, but I think tamarind juice has a much more authentic flavor. We have some palm sugar. Again, more authentic, a better sweetness rather than sugar and brown sugar. Hamai.
Oh, yep.
So
Dried shrimp.
hamai, exactly, dried shrimp. Chinese culture, you're not going to find it in like a Thai curry, but I think this has a lot of umami, and the dried shrimp will really boost the lobster flavor. And then for spices, we just have some turmeric, coriander seeds, and green cardamom pods. So we can start the sauce.
So Eric, I'm sure the viewers are also interested in kind of understanding why you were doing this during the competition side. So did you have this dish planned, or was it really at the moment?
Yeah, I was winging it the whole competition, if nobody could tell. But no, I definitely don't think it was planned. So my favorite ingredient was always lobster. And like if you were like a big fan of the show, you know that my grandpa was a big influence to my cooking. Like one of my first dishes, I think, was the char siu tong mian, which my grandpa always makes, and he always cooks wok fried lobster. So I kind of wanted to incorporate that as my protein, the star of the dish. Since I was making pasta the whole competition, I wanted to do like an Asian egg noodle. And then I had to stick with the Asian theme because I was an Asian competitor. So I made a curry. That's pretty much how it came together. So we're going to get the pan hot. We'll start toasting off our curry paste. Again, the finer this is, the better. So I cannot stress enough, if you have a food processor or a blender, you can use it. So we'll just saute all this off. We'll pretend that this shrimp paste is toasted. And then we'll just add all the ingredients and simmer.
So Eric, while you're doing that, if you wouldn't mind taking a question from one of our viewers
Of
out
course.
there. This is an interesting one. So do you have to kill the lobster beforehand, or can you put it in the boiling water alive? Does it make a difference?
Do you have to kill it? Well, I kind of want to go to heaven. So I don't want to boil a lobster alive. I personally wouldn't want to be boiled alive. I would want to make a death as quick and painless as possible. So no, you don't have to kill it. It doesn't affect the dish in any way.
Right.
But for my moral compass, yes, I would say kill it first, please.
Okay.
I do kind of, let me remove this pot out of the way.
Yeah,
Right.
I think they want to get a...
Right here. It's just got 1 more minute, and then I'll, this should be safe. Okay. This we're just gonna simmer. At the same time, we want to add our lobster bodies.
And it's amazing, you can actually, the aromatics are already really coming out here.
So this we're gonna put
Oh, okay.
in there and simmer the bodies. All right, and then after we break down all the lobsters, we can actually throw the shells in as well.
Okay, so really you're using everything. It's great to see you using the head and the little
Yeah, I know, like,
inside the...
Some people want to like roll out the legs and get all the meat, but there's so much meat here, you really don't need it. I'm just gonna take out the big claw. All right, we'll take it out now, and this is good to go. Very good. So we'll just simmer that, let that saute, add our tamarind juice. And I'll just quickly cut some green onions. This will be just garnish for our final dish.
So, Eric, I also know too, so the hamai, or the dried shrimp, and the hamha, the dried shrimp paste, not so easily accessible for everybody out there. They would really have to go to a Chinese grocer.
supermarket, yeah, but
The Asian grocer would have.
I mean, for me, when people say like easily accessible, Chinese supermarket is easy accessible. I don't know.
True,
That's just me, but like it's just another grocery store, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah.
So like all these ingredients can definitely be found. You don't have to go to like a specialty store. Almost any Chinese supermarket,
Right.
should have all these ingredients, for sure. Like
Yeah.
Galingo may be the exception,
Right.
but again, you can substitute with ginger. So once all the lobster flavor gets out, assuming
Yeah.
it got out,
Yeah.
we'll add the coconut milk and then simmer it together. And then while it's simmering, it's not too late to add the lobster shells.
Okay. So even as it's simmering, you're going to add the lobster shells
Yes.
from the removed
So-
meat as you do it.
I'm just gonna clean up, and then we can start breaking down the lobsters. All right, fantastic. So this is my favorite part,
Breaking down
lobster meat.
So what is your trick to get it straight if you do need it straight?
All right, so first you want to get the lobster out of the shell, right?
Yep.
So a lot of people, and I see this all the time, they would take scissors and cut down.
Right.
But then you have the potential of ruining the meat. Because if you do want a nice, beautifully presented, clean lobster tail, you definitely don't want to take a scissors down to the center of it. So you'll actually take a towel and crush both sides of it. So put it in the center. Crush once. All this stuff can come out. And then crush the other side. Now we're just going to take the towel, both sides, and crack this open. At this point, we can just easily remove the shell. Easily remove the shell. There we go. And now you have a nice, clean lobster tail. So to get it straight, you're just going to take your knife and just make super small incisions to release the tension.
Yeah, look at that.
Now you have a straight lobster tail. You're going to take, you can take like a cake tester or anything and just remove the residual intestine.
And that you would discard?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't want to eat this. Oh, maybe it's already gone. Check the middle. All right, guess it's already gone. So we're just going to quickly rinse this off. All right, we can put it on this clean plate.
So Eric, I'm going to ask you another question from a viewer.
Sure.
So Dora Wong. So welcome, Dora. Thanks for joining us on Miele Live today with Eric. So she goes, I don't know what the name is in English, which I would mean. I assume what she's going to mean is the longhako. Sometimes you find something green color or orange stuff in the lobster head. Can we eat both?
So you talk about the tamales.
Tamales
is
correct.
the English word. Anything in the center of the body, I would always just throw it in. But like what I just extruded from the tail is definitely
Not
like it's intestines.
okay.
So like this stuff in this bowl right here, don't eat that.
Okay.
But anything that's inside the body is all the good flavors. So like I always cook all of that. And
So especially in the head of the lobster,
Exactly,
there's
exactly.
a lot of the tamale there.
Yeah.
So
All right, so we'll just break down the claws. It'll be super easy. You're gonna take a rag again, just because they do have spikes.
okay.
You're gonna separate the knuckles from the claw. And we'll do the claws first. So you just wanna take the small part of here, snap it off, back and forth, and then wiggle this out. That's gone. And then take the back of your knife and then bash as hard as you can. All around, and then you can just pop off. Oh no, that's not good.
The MasterChef pressure getting to
Oh
you,
no,
Eric?
I don't know. There we go. But my claw meat got destroyed, unfortunately. Get out of there. Very good. And then the knuckles. Oh, we got another one.
Second attempt.
Bash. Wow, these guys do not like me. All right, a tip for home. You definitely want to shock the lobster longer because my lobster is still very hot and hasn't released from the shell.
So really, that's what the shocking process does. It helps.
Yeah, it helps the meat release from the shell.
Okay.
So right now it's still all cooked, but we're just gonna chop it up and throw it in our chow mein, so it's not gonna be an issue.
So how long actually would you normally shock it for?
Like at least 10 minutes
Okay. All right.
to have it like properly cold.
Okay.
So we're gonna take a pair of scissors, chop off this part, which we don't need. And now, unfortunately, yeah, you do have to use scissors and cut the meat, but it's a knuckle and nobody really noticed. So you're just gonna cut 4 incisions. like so. And this should just pop out, if it was shocked. Yeah, as you notice, the tail was the easiest to come out just because it was in the ice the longest. Now these are all still very, very hot. And it's still stuck to the shell like crazy. Terrible.
That's
Terrible,
okay.
terrible.
We're not judging you. So Eric, on your menu at R&D right now, what's actually your favorite thing to actually eat?
To eat on the menu?
Yeah.
I would say it's my, I have a dish called wok lobster. It's the same as my Instagram tag, so it's, I made that dish because I wanted, I don't know, I wanted a signature lobster dish because we took it off the menu for so long. This one would be my favorite just because I don't get to eat it very often.
Okay. And
Everything else
so
sells.
what is the dish?
The dish, so we use every part of the lobster. So the tail we butter poach, the claws and knuckle we tempura and fry.
Okay.
With the bodies we make a lobster dashi.
Wow.
And then with the tamale we actually make a lobster chip. So
Oh, really?
yeah, we mix the tamales in with some cooked down rice.
Okay.
And then dehydrate it and then fry it up to make a nice chip. After that, we cook some vermicelli with some butter and lobster dashi. We top it with the butter poached lobster, have a nice dashi glaze, and then we smoke it under a dome because a wok lobster should have a smoky flavor. So we smoke it under a dome, it comes to the table, and then we unveil the cloche, and it's nice and smoky.
Wow.
All right, so we're just going to wash my hands one more time. I'll just bring these over.
There you go. So Eric, when you do the butter poached lobster, is it technically the same technique that you just showed to get the lobster meat out and then you would butter poach it after that?
Exactly. So what that technique just did, this technique of like taking or poaching the lobster in the boiling water, it actually just cooked it just enough to remove it from the shell.
Okay.
So you have to cook it, release the meat from the shell, and then shock it so it easily removes.
Yeah.
But it's not 100% cooked. So at this point, I would take it, and you can butter poach it. We actually sous vide it, so
Okay.
we vacuum seal it
Yep.
with some seasoned lobster butter that we make. So we have like a lobster oil, and we make a lobster butter with it, and then we sous vide it to order. Yeah, so you can. The reason why I prefer cooking lobster like this is because now you can do anything with it.
Right, and it's not overcooked at this point,
Exactly,
so it still gives
exactly.
you the ability to cook with it. Got it.
So
And through the magic of
television, you have a finished sauce. All right, we will just move towards the pasta. So what makes this dish a bit more different, I'd say, is that we use a katara. So the reason why I decided to use a katara is that a lot of home cooks won't have a pasta roller or a pasta machine,
Right.
anything. So you can actually make this whole pasta with like a wine bottle. You don't even need a rolling bin. So I obviously
you
have
have
one.
yes.
But I've definitely done this with a wine bottle before at the cottage. So my pasta, you can use any like recipe of your pasta of your choice. Mine's just like 2-part flour, 1 part egg, and then my egg mixture is 2-part yolk and 1 part whole egg.
Okay.
And then you just add some salt, olive oil, and water until it's the desired consistency. So this is just some pasta I made yesterday. I'm just going to show you briefly how we make the katara. So it's just that easy. You can roll this out, and the beauty of it is that it doesn't have to be paper thin.
Right.
A lot of times people are cooking pasta, they're like concerned about it being, oh, you gotta see my hand through it. But this one I actually want the thick noodles because it'll absorb
The sauce.
that sauce, that beautiful sauce. So we're actually gonna preheat the wok.
So with the chitarra, you're actually taking a little bit of the Italian
Exactly.
into this dish now.
And you just roll it through and it just falls right through. You wanna do this pretty much right after you make and rest your pasta dough
Okay.
because you don't want the sheet too dry or else it'll crack. Just that easy. And then this, you have
There you
noodles right
go.
here. That's it. Very, very nice. I already blanched some off just to
Okay.
make it easy. So we are pretty much ready to assemble the dish.
Okay. So with the sauce, because obviously we have a finished one, you would strain that.
Yeah, oh right. So you definitely want to strain it through a fine mesh chinois, like a fine mesh strainer, and really squeeze out all the juices. Because
From the
everything,
shells and
exactly, from the
everything.
shells. how I would do it at home is I would take the shells out first, strain it, press it. After that, you can strain the rest and squish it. Because like, there's no way you can press with the shells mixed in with the aromatic and curry paste. Once you strain that off, you can either thicken it to the desired consistency or just reduce it. But this is just like the original strained stock. I haven't done anything to it. So we want to get a nice hot wok going. That's the moment. And we're just going to get some color on the noodles first. So we'll just wait for this to come up. Very good. And yeah, these lobsters, you can either like cut it up, tempura fry it, so you have some texture to the noodles.
Okay.
Or I'm just going to actually finish it in the broth and then plate it on top.
Perfect.
It's not really going to be like practical. It's just going to be a whole tail on top. But yeah, it doesn't matter. All right. Actually, while the wok's heating up, we're just going to briefly segment a lime. I just need to grab my knife.
No problem. So Eric, we talked about your favorite dish to actually eat in the restaurant. What's your favorite dish to actually cook then?
Cook, I would say it would have to be the duck. The duck is just very satisfying because I guess we have a limited amount, so I don't get to cook it like extremely often.
Okay.
But it's our version of Peking ducks. We like get these Brome Lake ducks in, we brine them for 24 hours, then blanch them, dry age them for 2 weeks, and then brush it with a solution of maltose vinegar, giving you that like crispy skin. And then we slow cook it for 3 hours, and then ladle it with extremely hot oil, just crisp and color the skin.
Right.
And then we carve it up so it's perfect medium rare. But like carving a duck is just extremely satisfying in my opinion. So yeah, segmenting a lime. I'm just gonna quickly do it on this. I don't want to dirty another cutting board. Never not cut on a cutting board, but it's very easy. So a lot of people, when segmenting a lime, would actually like cut both sides of the segment. Let me show you what I mean. Yeah, you just want to briefly. All right, so to maximize the amount of lime, you actually want to just cut one side only, and then press and scrape. Whoop. That way you get a full, clean lime on this side.
You're right. A lot of people.
A lot of people go both sides, but you just press and scrape, and that's all I will need actually. All right, so this is all hot. We want to get some color on the noodles first. So we'll just wok fry these. You can feel free to add like some shallot or garlic here. For the purpose of this, I don't think we need it. You're pretty hungry, right?
Well, I think the crew that's actually here are actually hungry.
All right, you know what? Fine. We'll just cook it all. So yeah, you just want to get some color on this. Normally, yeah, you can start off with some shallot or garlic, but I think then there's enough flavor in the curry.
Yeah, because the sauce has a lot of aromatics in there.
Right here, I'm just getting some color. These noodles haven't been blanched all the way through. Okay. They're actually still quite al dente on the center because I want to cook the noodles in the curry. Right. Soak it up, and actually the starch and the flour from the noodles will help thicken the curry.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason why I want to use the wok is because you want to evenly toast the noodles. If it's in a pan, you're not really going to be able to toss it, and they won't really get an even cook. All right.
So Eric, again, right now at R&D, everybody can obviously go online, order takeout. What are you seeing as the favorite dishes people are actually ordering for takeout right now?
Surprisingly, a lot of people want a lot of fried food. So like fried chicken, spring rolls, popcorn shrimp. Lately, our newest addition was our tuna tartare. A lot of people seem to like it. Like yesterday, we sold, it was our top seller for sure.
So maybe you want to tell us a little bit about the tuna tartare itself?
Sure. We use like saku tuna. We marinate it in a ginger scallion soy marinade. After that, we pair it with a beautiful avocado seaweed salad, and then we just pair that with some wonton crisp. So like perfect snack. It's getting really hot out, so it's really nice and refreshing, and we promise you'll get it cold. All right, so once there's a little bit of color on the noodles, we're going to add some of our stock. This is just like a nice aromatic lobster curry. a bit more.
So if I remember correctly, though, on the show, when you actually cooked for your grandfather, you made spring rolls.
Yeah, I did.
Is that correct?
I did. Sure.
Yeah, I think.
I think so. Yeah, I think I tried
family
making
meal.
egg rolls
Right.
from scratch, but I don't think it ended up working out too good for me. Thanks for bringing it up.
Oh, sorry about that. You still won. It's okay.
All right, at this point, we can add our veg at the very end. So we're just going to add a little bit of bok choy. Oh, what's the point keeping that?
Yeah.
And some bean sprouts. All right. And you can see the noodles have like really plumped up
Yeah.
and soaked that beautiful broth. There's almost none left. It's kind of weird to say, but it's like almost like cooking a noodle risotto. You're just going to add some more stock until
Okay.
it's desired thickness and you have that nice consistency.
Yeah, because normally you would never actually do that.
No, but since these noodles are like so thick,
Right.
that's what I love about Qatar. It's very hard to overcook. This is a very
Forgiving.
forgiving, home cook friendly dish. I think Qatars are relatively cheap, definitely way cheaper than a pasta machine. So those are really expensive.
It actually looks easier to use, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
So here, we're just gonna gently poach the, let's put this here, the tail to fully cook it,
Okay.
as well as the claw meat.
It's interesting because the noodles almost, Eric, look like Shanghai noodles. That very
Yeah.
similar look when it's in the wok.
Beautiful. And we'll just have a kill the heat. We can plate. So like the residual heat in here will gently poach the lobster.
Right. And how long would you poach that for?
Honestly, it really depends on the heat of the sauce. So
Okay.
like just by touching it, it should have like a little firmness to it,
Okay.
and it should not be translucent at all.
Okay.
So this is pretty much almost done. So we can start plating this. Lots of noodles for you guys.
I think they're salivating in the back, watching as this gets plated, Eric. So I see nodding heads. So.
All right.
So Eric, how much? When you were on the show, you were already a really skilled cook. How much skills did you develop during the show process, or did you feel really you grew after the show? It opened opportunities for you to grow.
For sure, like the show definitely taught me a lot and opened my eyes, but like nothing beat actually working in a restaurant.
Okay.
Like I think, like the first week I worked at Buca first.
Oh, okay.
It's like an Italian restaurant in Toronto. I worked there for maybe like, a total of 4 months. But like the first week I was there, like opened my eyes and I was like, wow, this is completely different than what I would have ever expected. Just the amount of, I remember the first thing I did, I was like, damn, my like feet hurt from standing all day. Now I'm like completely used to it, but like when I first got into the restaurant industry, I was like, man, we stand a lot. But now I'm very used to it.
So was that your first kitchen experience?
Professional kitchen experience.
Yeah.
I did one event with Alvin in Asia.
Okay.
It was in Singapore, called like Savor. But after that, yeah, that was the first time working in Toronto. But it was a lot of fun. Like I learned a lot. The chef at the time there, Ryan Campbell, who now at Il Covo, he was like a great mentor, great person to learn from. Right, then we just garnish with some scallions. And I like to put segments of lime, just because it adds these like bursts of acidity.
Right.
This is just a personal preference. I don't like to put lime juice, so the dish is like one dimension. That way, when you're eating the dish, you'll actually get these bursts of refreshment, which makes it easier to eat the whole dish. And that's it.
Fantastic.
There we go. That's a lot of lobster for one plate of noodles.
And don't expect that, actually.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Eric. Really thank you for doing this dish for us, because I think our viewers really were really wanting to see this after your MasterChef experience and kind of learn more about, again, what's going on with you right now at R&D. So again, So thanks a lot for doing that. R&D, maybe just one more time for everybody. Hours of operation, best way to order right
Sure.
now with you guys.
So we're located at 241 Spadina Avenue. It's like Dundas and Spadina in Toronto. We are open Wednesday to Sunday from 2 to 9 p.m. And yeah, if you want like good Asian food for takeout, just call, or you can find us on Uber Eats, DoorDash, Ritual, or Skip the Dishes.
Yeah, and it's great to see you guys are actually really using, authentic ingredients that some people may not have have a chance to experience. So it's great to.
For sure, we try and bring our experiences to your home. That's our goal.
So I'll ask you one last food question about the restaurant. So the barbecue pork bun, the char siu bao. So what makes it so unique at R&D?
All right,
Because
so
it is one of your signature dishes.
We've shortened the name to CSB because a lot of people don't know what char siu is and can't say char siu bao. So it is just the CSB. We actually do sell it for takeout only on Thursdays. You have to pre-order them because it is very difficult to make. So the char siu we make in-house. We make it from scratch. We get pork jowl. It's the cheek of the pig. We just find it has much flavor. It's the same cut as guanciale. We brine it, we marinate it, we glaze it, roast it, cut it up, mix it with our house-made bao sauce, which is like oyster sauce, sugar-based, nice like authentic Hong Kong sauce. We make a fresh milk bun every day, so it's a nice buttery bread. And then we top it with a Mexican bun topping. So it's like sort of like an icing. There's like 3 kinds of fat in it, sugar, flour. When we pipe it on top, it melts as it's being baked and creates this thin crust, almost like a pineapple bun topping.
Right.
But it's much thinner, much more uniform, and it adds this like sweet, crispy exterior. So you have like a nice baked, sweet and savory barbecue pork bun. So it's a lot of labor. We have to make it fresh every day to keep it at that quality,
Right.
and that's why we don't do it every day. But for those of you who want it, and there's been a lot of demand for it.
Because I know it's one of your signature dishes that you guys have
so
there.
we've been selling quite a few on Thursdays. Unfortunately, you just missed this week's, but you can definitely order for next Thursday.
Perfect. Well, again, thanks, Eric, for joining us. Now, as part of this initiative that Miele started, hashtag Miele Dines Local, we are going to buy 100 meals from you guys at R&D, and we're going to jointly donate those. Now, I think we're doing gift certificates for the foundation. So where are we actually donating this to?
Sick Kids. Sick Kids for sure means a lot to me. One, I have a lot of friends who have had kids and actually gotten treatment at Sick Kids. And 2, probably the more important reason, my fiance works at Sick Kids.
Okay.
So she's a nurse at Sick Kids, and her unit is like the gastrointestinal unit. She obviously sees some stuff that she doesn't really like talk about at work, but I think all those people, like I've met all her colleagues, everybody always has a smile on their face, and that's what I think separates them and makes them extremely special. Not only are they enjoying what they're doing, but they're bringing joy to the kids as well, who are maybe in unfortunate situations, but they definitely don't feel like they are. Yeah,
and I think for us that live in Toronto, I think we're really fortunate to have Sick Kids. For us that have had kids, have been there before, they really try to make it the best possible experience, for the kids at
Definitely.
the end of the day. So.
And yeah, I think, that's a good point, because I think they're known around Canada, not just in Ontario. So it is a good, renowned hospital, and I just look forward to giving back.
Yeah, so we'll look forward to doing that together between R&D and Miele, so we're happy to do that. And again, want to thank you for joining us.
Of course, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
It was a lot of fun. So I want to thank all the viewers out there for joining us as well. Continue to go on mielelive.ca to see our upcoming schedules. At 5 o'clock today, again, we have a very special session as well with our partners at the Concord Group. We actually have a bit of a cook-off happening there with some special guests who will join us this afternoon as well. Miele Live continues. Be sure to visit mielelive.ca to see some new restaurants that are going to be joining us next week on hashtag Miele Dines Local. Turn on your subscription and notification on your YouTube channel to get the latest information about our latest videos. Very lastly, on behalf of Eric, myself, the R&D team, the Miele Canada team, we want to send a very special thank you to all the frontline workers across the country that are out there right now, providing the necessary services to all the different communities, whether it's frontline medical workers, staff that are ensuring our grocery shelves are stocked, that people can actually get food. As businesses reopen, we want to make sure that everybody continues to really remain safe. We really believe we will get through this. We want to thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again on Miele Live, and also be sure to take the opportunity to experience some of the amazing food at R&D and some of the other restaurants that we've also had on here. So thank you and have a great day.